Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman, and we are filing this, of course, from a remote studio. Not really a studio, but you know how we are. We're on the move all the time. We have with us right now Sandi Steensma. She's the president and chief executive officer of Kennari Consulting in Grand Rapids. And Sandi, it is good to have you on. Something about nonprofits these days, right? Fill us in.
Sure. Thanks, Chris, and thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And today is National Nonprofit Day, and I'm so excited about it because we don't focus on the nonprofit sector very often. And really, from an economic point of view, it's part of the three-legged stool of our economy, which includes government, private, and the nonprofit sector. And so I have with me today a guest, Dale Robertson, who's the president and chief executive officer of the Grand Rapids Public Museum. And he'll talk a little bit more about his organization and how it contributes to the nonprofit landscape.
And Dale, it's good to have you on. Dale's not only your guest, but he's also an old friend of mine. I think off air, we were talking about maybe over 20 years we've known each other. And Dale, it's always good to see you, my friend. Let's talk about what you're doing now, what you're running, and how that fits in this scheme of things.
So, Chris, thank you for having me on. Sandi, thank you for thinking of me to be part of this this show here on National Nonprofit Day. And so, yeah, a little bit of background context. So I work at the Grand Rapids Public Museum. It is arguably the oldest museum in the state of Michigan, second largest, arguably too, in terms of size of our collections. A uniqueness about it, I believe, and I think fits right in the spirit of West Michigan. 98% of those 250,000 artifacts and specimens donated by the people of West Michigan over 167 years. And so we are in the process of sharing those out and connecting. At our core, we're an educational institution. And to that end, we even have a partnership with Grand Rapids Public Schools, Kendall College of Art and Design, Grand Valley State University, in an actual museum school.
You know, it's really interesting because as this is nonprofit celebration time, let's talk a little bit about where the nonprofits fit in. I've always been a proponent of don't think of them as nonprofits because they are a very important part of our ecosystem.
Chris, I couldn't agree with you more, and it really is appropriate to be talking about the role that nonprofits play in the economy on this day. I think there is plenty of evidence now out there through studies and data nationwide that says that now actually jobs follow talent. And talent locates in spaces where they want to live. And what's one of those amenities, things that talent looks for, are the nonprofits and what we contribute, right, to the overall community. The lawyer in me says, I'm going to offer you up Exhibit A, right? When Amazon was looking to put their headquarter number 2, what was one of the things that on their criteria? Museums. Were there good and decent museums? Where are they located? In addition to infrastructure, right, transportation, neighborhoods, and so forth. And where did they pick? Right, the metropolitan Washington, D.C. area, where there are, top level museums. So it's definitely a factor. We play a role, no question about it, in that larger contribution to the entire fabric of the city. Right, and that place that people want to live at our core educational institutions, as I mentioned, so you have an enriching experience when you're dealing with nonprofits.
Dale, it's interesting because one of the biggest problems facing small business, even through COVID, was the lack of talent, getting people who are going to run your business, who are critical thinkers, who are critical. You play a big part in that as well in the nonprofit sector.
Well, I think that's exactly right, Chris. In fact, being educators at our core, one of the things that I think we all do in our programs that we offer is to really focus on those critical thinking skills, right? What are the questions that you need to ask up front? The right questions to lead you to the next best answer, to get you to an ultimate solution, but be able to be open to that, right? And that's where, so that curiosity is the first step in learning. And that plays right into those critical thinking skills of going from one step to another and just expanding that picture. So you, at the end, you get to an informed result.
Dale, do you utilize an internship program at the museum?
We have all kinds of internships. In fact, we're just doing one now with some students from Calvin College that are going to be astrophysicists to help do some internship programs right within our planetarium, and including, talking about science news. For instance, there's just something that came out today about because of the Saturn's rings are wobbling, the core may be molten. We're going to be covering it. It's going to be a student that's going to be help sharing those kinds of science lessons to the broader public. It's just a wonderful thing that nonprofits can do to link into that broader educational community and all the talent that's there too.
The great contributions. Matter of fact, we both know where the #1 astrophysics school is in the state and in the country is at Michigan State University. So pretty close proximity.
Go white.
Dale Robertson, always good to see you, my friend. Thank you, and continued good luck up at the museum there in Grand Rapids. And of course, Sandi Steensma, thanks for calling to our attention the importance of this, really recognizing the importance of small and nonprofits in our ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Sandi, of course, is President and Chief Executive Officer of Kennari Consulting in Grand Rapids. I want to thank you all for being part of and watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. Stick around. We'll be back with a whole lot more.